Assalamualaikum. For our video presentation, we will present about COVID-19. This is our members, Nurul Diana, Nur Aufa Alia, Yasmin Handom, and Nur Zalika Anissa. And this is our contents. There is introduction, how can such virus attack the human immune system, symptom of COVID-19, vaccination could play a role in curbing this outbreak, and conclusion.
Let me introduce first what is COVID-19 that all of us already aware with it since at the end of 2019. COVID-19 is the current outbreak of pneumonia that began at the beginning of December 2019 near in Wuhan City, Hubei Province, China. COVID-19 is a pathogenic virus. It swiftly evolved into a global pandemic affecting nearly every corner of the world. Coronaviruses mostly cause gastrointestinal and respiratory tract infections and has spread worldwide and caused several million deaths. The virus primarily spread to respiratory droplets when an infected person coughs, sneezes, talks, or breathes, and it also spread by touching surfaces contaminated with the virus and then touching one's face. Many countries have announced some sort of lockdown to find a solution to COVID-19 by discontinuing the transmission. To contain the spread, numerous countries implemented various public health measures, mask mandates, social distancing, and widespread vaccination campaigns. The pandemic led to a significant disruption in daily life, impacting economies, healthcare system, education, and social interaction on a global scale.
How can such virus attack human immune system and health? So coronavirus is a respiratory virus, which means it can enter and invade the airways and lungs. The most common symptoms include fever, dry cough, tiredness, and difficulty in breathing. Once the virus gets into the cells in the lower respiratory tract, they proliferate inside the cell. The disease progresses, causes inflammation, resulting in fluid accumulation and difficulty of breathing. When fluid enters the alveoli or the air sac in the lung where gas exchange occurs, it leads to low blood oxygen levels. This condition is termed as pneumonia. Think of your respiratory tract as an upside-down tree. The trunk is your trachea or white pine. It's split into smaller and smaller branches in your lungs. At the end of each branches, there are tiny air sacs called alveoli. This is where oxygen goes in your blood and carbon dioxide comes out. As the infection travels your respiratory tract, your immune system fights back. It can take time to feel better after you have pneumonia. How can COVID-19 affect someone's health? You may have trouble breathing or feel short of breath since it is hard for your body to take in oxygen. You may feel more tired than usual for a while. You might also find that you can't exercise like you used to. Some people had a cough even after they recovered from COVID-19. Others had scarring in their lungs. Doctors are still studying whether these effects are permanent or might heal over time. A few people have even needed lung transplants because of severe tissue damage from COVID-19.
COVID-19 symptoms can vary from mild to severe and may appear 2 until 14 days after exposure to the virus. Common symptoms include, firstly, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing can occur due to pulmonary inflammation. It affects the respiratory system, causing inflammation in the lungs, and it also can lead to breathing difficulties. Secondly, you will experience a sudden loss of taste or smell. It can be partial or complete and is often temporary, but it can persist for varying durations in different individuals. And the last one is sore throat, can be one of the symptoms associated with COVID-19. It also, although it is not as common as some other symptoms like fever and cold, it might present as first scratchiness or irritation, a sensation of discomfort or pain in the throat. Secondly, difficulty swallowing. Pain or discomfort may worsen when swallowing.
How vaccination could play a role in curbing this outbreak? Before we begin, there are several types of COVID-19 vaccines, including inactivated or weakened virus vaccines. These use an inactivated or weakened version of the virus that doesn't cause disease but still generates an immune response. Second, protein-based vaccines. These contain harmless fragments of proteins or protein shells that mimic the COVID-19 virus to safely generate an immune response. Third is viral vector vaccines. These use the same virus that cannot cause disease but serve as a vehicle to produce coronavirus proteins to generate an immune response. Lastly, RNA and DNA vaccines. These are genetically engineered RNA or DNA which create proteins that safely activate an immune response. Before we talk about how vaccination will help our bodies fight infection, let's talk about antibodies. Antibodies are some of the first cells to respond to the alarm. These antibodies attach to the intruding pathogen, which is virus or bacteria. These antibodies then attract other immune cells to help in fighting off infections. These immune cells consist primarily of macrophages, B lymphocytes, and T lymphocytes. Macrophages eat and digest the invaders and any dead or dying cells, leaving behind parts of the invaders called antigens. The body can then identify the antigens as dangerous and stimulates antibodies to attack them. Second, B lymphocytes. B lymphocytes produce the antibodies that attack the antigens left behind the macrophages. And lastly, T lymphocytes. T lymphocytes attack the infected cells in our body. How vaccinations help our bodies fight infection? Vaccines function by impersonating a bacterium or virus. While most vaccinations use a dead or weakened version of the virus, there is a new type of vaccine that uses messenger RNA, which is mRNA. COVID-19 vaccines were created using this novel method of vaccine development. COVID-19 and RNA vaccination instructs human cells to produce a harmless component of the coronavirus, which is spike protein. The spike protein is located on the surface of the virus that causes COVID-19. The immune cells use the instructions once they are within them to assemble the protein fragment. Following the synthesis of the protein fragment, the cell degrades and discards the instructions. The cell then exhibits the protein fragment on its surface. Our immune system recognizes that the proteins does not belong there and begin constructing an immunological response and producing antibodies as occurs in natural infection with COVID-19. Similar to conventional vaccinations, our immune system identifies the invader in advance so that should we really contract the infection, it will be better equipped to combat it. Fever is one among the mild symptoms that might arise from a vaccine-induced mimic infection. As your body develops immunity, you should anticipate some mild symptoms. Next is boosters. Booster shots might be considered a standard procedure when it comes to receiving vaccinations to protect oneself against disease. The term booster describes a second dosage of a vaccination given following the administration of the first or primary dose. It is possible to provide this booster weeks, months, or even years later. Giving the initial or primary dose of some vaccines in addition to a booster dose is a recommended administration method. Since the immune system was designed to defend against a virus, the initial dosage has prepared it to identify and generate antibodies against it. Immunotherapy booster shots are used to remind the body's defenses against a virus. Thus, the immune system is strengthened or enhanced.
In conclusion, COVID-19 is a pandemic that has affected the entire world that led to a large number of infections and fatalities globally. Vaccination campaigns have been vital in controlling the spread of the virus and reducing its impact. Therefore, collaboration, innovation, resilience, and adaptability are crucial in addressing the impact of pandemics and preventing future ones. Thank you for listening. Assalamualaikum.
And this is our references. That's all from us. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.